Hey, my name is Jared Moon, and I'm part of a group of underground athletes you've probably never even heard of before. We don't rely on fancy equipment for training, and most of us don't even have gym memberships. In fact, our motivation comes from within. You see, we have jobs, families, and responsibilities, but we still have big goals, and they aren't getting achieved at a global gym. For that reason, we have to do things differently. Our training has to be smarter. We don't have every piece of equipment known to man or a ton of time to train, and we don't need it, because we are achieving amazing things without it. So how do we do it? If you ask your average personal trainer or gym goer, they'd call us crazy. Yet we're seeing results better than most every single day. And it's happening by blending mental training with physical training and becoming an athlete. What we call, and welcome to, Garage Gym Athlete.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jared Moon here, and welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. With me is Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
Hey, what's up? Ready to get this season 2 finished up?
Yeah, and we have Evan Halquist, man. How's it going?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're good. And as Joe mentioned, I think this may be the very last episode in season 2, man. So we're glad to have you.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So let's dive into it, man. A little intro for you, who you are, what you do for a living, and how you train.
Again, Evan Halquist, as you introduced me. I'm a LA County firefighter. Currently, I'm assigned to recruit training as the recruit fitness coordinator. And how I train right now is I train out of my garage or at the academy. And I do one man, one barbell with some pain intervals. That's my go-to.
Nice. Yeah, pain intervals as a go-to. That's you're sick. You're a sick man.
Just following your lead.
Right. Awesome, man. And so, give us a little bit about both setups. So, let's start with your work setup. You know, what kind of training equipment you have, and then after that, your garage.
Yeah, at the work gym, we have, barbells, treadmills, bumper plates, kettlebells, wall balls, the traditional stuff that you see, rowers, assault bikes. And then at home, I pretty much have a little miniature version of that. So kettlebells, wall balls, barbells again. I have an Aerodyne there, pull-up rig, some rings, and then also a rower.
Oh, nice.
Nice, man. Good setup.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm pretty lucky to have it. I got it back in 2010. It was the best investment I ever made by making a home gym. And never looking back to go into a traditional gym again.
I know, I couldn't imagine it. I think I was just talking to my wife yesterday. What was she saying? Some reason why I should go to a gym. I couldn't even believe the words coming out of her mouth. I
went to one of those gyms the other day, and I'm just looking around, and I'm just surprised about what everybody's. I don't want to be mean, but their lack of fitness. It was just very surprising, especially in the new year.
Right. I have a hard time with some of those, like some of the machines you see people do the crazy stuff, or just like little tiny half reps or something. I'm just like, I gotta.
Yeah, where do they come up with a lot of these movements? It's the weirdest thing. It's very entertaining.
Yeah, when left to your own devices, they're just like, I don't know how to work this muscle. What puts stress and tension on it? Let's try that.
Exactly.
I mean, so what was the big reason behind starting a garage gym for you?
I think for me, I got tired of going to those normal gyms. Well, I shouldn't call them normal gyms. Those big box gyms, and not really knowing what to do, not feeling like I was getting a workout in. So during that time, I was researching what I could do, and I got into CrossFit and got into the basics of building a home gym. And once I, got into working out at that higher intensity, I just got addicted to it and really enjoyed it. And I just started building my home gym, got a rower and a barbell first. And then from there, kettlebells and then wall balls and then bumper plates and so on and so forth. So that's where I started.
Awesome, man. And what are your main, you've been doing this for about 8 years. So what's your main goal as you train each and every single year?
Right now, my main goal is to get stronger. I had a back injury in 2012 where I herniated a disc in L5-S1. I didn't train correctly. I was doing the movements improperly. And like I mentioned before, I was really into the high intensity stuff, but at the cost of breaking down my form. So since I injured myself, my goal is to get back to, zero status healthy, and then from there to get stronger. So right now I'm just happy being healthy, and I'm excited to start lifting heavy again. So my main goal is to get stronger and maintain health at the same time.
Yeah, man, it sounds like you have a really patient approach to things as well. Like you know things take time, and it's not something that you're trying to rush through. Is that something being a garage gym athlete has taught you?
Oh, definitely. And that wasn't necessarily from lack of experience. I did it the wrong way many times, and I learned from my mistakes. And now every time I go into the gym, I check my ego. I'm here to be more fit for life so I can enjoy life, not so I can get the best time. So that's really my main goal when I enter the gym.
Awesome, dude. And so you mentioned you've been a garage gym athlete for a long time, and mentioned getting into CrossFit. That kind of opened the door. What were you doing before that?
Traditional stuff like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, bench, back, and like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, buys and tries and leg. I didn't really have a set program like those people I mentioned earlier. I just kind of show up and look what other people were doing in a machine, and then I would think I was getting a workout and then just go home. So it was really disorganized and chaotic.
Nice. Yeah, that's I think we've all kind of been in there at one point or another in our lives.
Yeah.
All right, so training in your garage, I'm sure that also a big factor for you is your job. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. As a firefighter, you have to be prepared for any situation. And so how I approach my fitness with not only getting stronger is how will this apply to my job? So you have to really be able to navigate through all energy systems, whether it's, that phosphagen, whether it's the anaerobic or the aerobic. So when I do train, I make sure that I'm hitting all those areas and I'm prepared for that, because you never know when you're on the job that as a firefighter, whether you're going to have to essentially do a max deadlift by picking up a larger person, or whether you're going to have to do an anaerobic activity at a structure fire, whether you're pulling the hose to the house or pulling a victim out, or whether you're on a brush fire and you're, sustained aerobic activity. So that is my goal in the back of my head is, can I be as prepared as I possibly can be for my job?
And I think that's really important to note for anyone out there who may be listening, who does need to depend on their fitness, because I was having this conversation with a guy the other day about how a lot of people think that there's some sort of the adrenaline reserve, right? They're gonna carry you through and help you be able to do anything. But until you get into a real situation where your life is on the line and you are trying to, use your max potential fitness, you'll realize quickly that adrenaline doesn't really help you. Your body will still shut down, and then eventually you will just have to give up, depending on what kind of situation you're in. It would be different if you are in the military, firefighter, police officer. But that whole magic, I'm going to lift a car off my kid story everyone's heard. Maybe that's true in 0.001% of cases, but for the most part, if you're not training how you're talking about every single energy system and pathway, your fitness will fail you.
Yeah, most definitely. For those that have had the opportunity to pull dead weight in somebody that's unconscious when they're in full turnouts in a hot, smoky environment, yeah, you hit that wall quick. So you really have to make sure that you are conserving your energy appropriately and prepared for that situation.
Awesome, dude. And so where are you located?
So I live in Lake Arrowhead, which is a small mountain community about an hour and a half outside of LA. And then I work for LA County Fire. So as of right now, and Recruit Fitness, I am at the East County Training Center in Pomona.
Okay, very
in Southern California.
So I think the weather's relatively mild there, or what are the temperatures like?
I would describe it as most often warm. Right now, we've had a really or a lack of a winter, so it's been 70 degrees during the daytime here. And then in the summertime, it can get really hot, over 100 degrees. Humidity is usually low. So that's always something you have to be aware of, especially when you're in your turnouts. It's going to be really hot, so it just adds to the problem when you're putting turnouts on. So most of the time it's hot here, So you have to be prepared for that. The coldness is not really something that we deal with that often.
Awesome. And I would love to hear a little bit more about, what you're preparing your guys for, because you said you kind of head up the fitness, the training.
Yeah. So we have 47 recruits, and again, it parallels what I talked about earlier in my own training, but on a different scale, because these recruits are entry level into the fire service. So really our main goal is to establish a solid foundation with them of appropriate movement patterns from the start, to make sure that they have a understanding and a grasp of those movements, whether it's a squat, a lunge, a push-up, a Turkish get-up. And we try to do that at body weight first to establish that baseline. And then from there, then we can start adding weight and train them through those energy systems like I talked about before. Now, we don't do any max effort heavier lifting, just because we don't have enough trainers to train them appropriately or equipment. So really our main goal is anaerobic activity with focus on form over intensity during that time, and then also some sustained aerobic activity. And that's how we prepare them for when they enter the field in a few months.
Awesome, man. All right. What is the hardest workout you have ever done?
Yeah, I thought about this one, and it doesn't sound very awesome, but like I mentioned before, I live in the mountains, about 6,000 feet, and the hill that I live on is like San Francisco incline. So one day I decided to do 10 hill sprints, rest by walking back down, and I did that. And then before I started the workout, I said, I'm going to do FRAN afterwards too. So I did the 10 hill sprints, which just wiped me out. And then I went and I did FRAN, and then that just put me on the floor. And I was done for hours. I was just laying in the garage, and my wife's coming out and checking on me, asking everything is okay. And I was not okay for a long time. I'd rather run a marathon than do that workout again.
But just to talk about the mental fortitude to get through that, I could see a lot of guys being like, you know what, I'm just going to cut the whole FRAN out of that, or maybe be like, you know what, let's just do 6 hill sprints and then get to FRAN or something. That's pretty incredible.
It was hard. That's why I've never touched it again, because I don't want to go through that again. So that was one point of strength that I had. But yeah, I don't know if I could ever do that again, just knowing how bad it was.
That sounds awful. Sometimes people tell me their hardest workout, and I'm like, you know what, maybe like on a good day I'll go give that a try, but that's not one of them. Yeah. I'm not, because I got plenty of hills around here, but in no way, shape, or form do I want to run the hills and then go do FRAN after. That's awesome.
Yeah, my legs were like shaking like crazy for like days after. It was bad.
Awesome, dude. All right, so in your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
Yeah, I thought about this one, and this is kind of an odd answer. I did a silent meditation retreat one time, and that was probably the hardest mental thing that I've done probably ever, just because I was there just with my thoughts, with no distractions, no TV, no cell phone, no magazines, no books, no writing, no nothing, just you all day long, and that's it. And there are some crazy things that your brain does when it's by itself, and you just got to sit there and kind of watch it. So I definitely recommend people to try that at least once, just to see what it's like for them. It's an interesting experience.
That's really cool. How long was the retreat for you?
It was 5 days.
5 days.
Yeah, it was too long.
That's awesome. I thought you were going to be like 48 hours or something like that. Yeah.
No. Like the first two days are going through all this crazy thing. And then by like day 5, you kind of finally settle into being able to handle yourself, and then it's over. So it's just an interesting process.
It wasn't like the, was it 40 years of Zen or something like that? The 40-something of Zen?
No, I did this one up in San Francisco, up in the Bay Area. It was at a place called Spirit Rock. That's where I found it online.
Yeah, and that's and so do you meditate pretty regularly? Most of the people I know who've gone to silent retreats like this, they that's kind of like a culminating event almost after a lot of meditation practice.
It's just like I try to do it every day if I can. Gets me focused, set up for the day correctly. So I'm less reactive during the day, so I kind of choose my responses rather than react to them. And doing that retreat just kind of was like a cortisone shot to just increase your ability to do that. So it definitely helps it.
That's awesome. And so just because you kind of have been doing it for a while, any advice for anyone out there who maybe wants to start meditation more regularly, what would you recommend?
I would say start small and work your way towards, bigger. A lot of people sit down and say, I'm going to do it for 30 minutes starting today forever. And it's like, no, you're not going to be able to do that, because just like training with the barbell, it's the same thing. You're just training your mind. So you should just start small, work your way towards that big goal. So just do a few minutes to start a day, see if you can do that, and then increase it to 10 minutes maybe after a month or two, and then to 15. And then usually like 20 minutes is the standard that most people do to try to have like a maintenance dose. And I think that's probably around the most effective area that you can end at.
Awesome, dude. All right, so if you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I think a kettlebell. I think a kettlebell is probably the most versatile tool that you can have in the gym. You could do anything with it, whether it's obviously swings or, lunges, deadlifts, presses. You could do and work all energy systems effectively, and it's mobile, so you could take it with you pretty much anywhere.
Big kettlebell fan.
Definitely has one of the more overall functional uses to
it
apply.
Really is. Yeah, it really is.
For if you could have one piece of equipment off of, like, if you had a wish list to add to your garage gym, what would be the most desired piece of equipment that you would add to your gym?
Ooh, like what I don't have right now in my gym?
Yeah. If you had,
yeah. I know what I do, because my ceiling is not high enough for ring work, for like muscle ups and other sorts of ring work. So I would get that. I'd get a taller ceiling and then have rings, because I think body weight in that regard with rings is very valuable. You can work core, you can work shoulder strength, mobility.
Oh yeah.
Trunk stability. So there's a lot of things. I would do that. Yeah, I definitely lack in that area right now.
I love the rings.
Yeah, they're a great tool.
Awesome, man. Well, let's get to the question of the show. So a ton of garage gym athletes out there listening to this, and you've been a garage gym athlete. I mean, this isn't nothing new to you. You've been a garage gym athlete for a long time, so very interested to hear what is the best advice you have for all the garage gym athletes out there.
I would say keep going. And what I mean by that is it's every single day it's putting in the effort. When you go into your garage and it's that day that it's really cold outside and it snows and your heater doesn't work, and then for some reason your music's not working and it's just the situation's not right, and it's the hardest thing to do is to work out. Making that decision to work out is the biggest benefit that you could do for your training system, because everything else after that is easier, and it's just one step at a time, just getting through that workout. So just keep moving forward as best as you can. And then ultimately, before you know it, you'll be in the shape that you want, or you reached your goal, and then it's time to move on to the next one. So just keep moving forward is what I'd say.
Awesome. Evan, it's been a blast having you on the podcast, man. I know you've been around Into 3 Fitness for a while, and love having you as part of the program. So thanks for being on, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was a blast.
Thank you, man.